Hi everyone. I've had a full few weeks and haven't posted as much content recently. I wanted to spend a few minutes this evening talking about how to respond when life effectively has pulled the carpet out from underneath you and what you can do to respond effectively. I'd like to share with you what I've been doing and what I think will work in terms of principles that you could then apply to your life. So the first main theme that comes to my mind is, what do you have to work with? So by this I mean the whole gamut. Do you have relevant skills that will help the situation? So for example, if it's conflict, do you have people skills that will help address conflict resolution? Do you have skills such as carpentry if you're addressing some type of renovation problem? Or do you have skills that are natural to you, where you've got the reserves and the drive to take on a problem, sink your teeth into it, and sort of meet it head on? So sort of the holistic part of the third one. By this I mean, are you well slept, and are you in the mind space or the head space to take on a challenging situation and make objective decisions for yourself? And I think you need to be honest with yourself. Sometimes the answer is going to be yes, but there may be times where you're emotionally invested into a project, or you're emotionally invested in a situation where having a neutral sounding board would pay dividends in responding to a challenging situation and coming through it unscathed. There's also the situation of resources that are other than you. So I've already talked about friends in terms of a sounding board. And I want to remind you that some friends or some people that may be interested in your success may come from online, either forums that you've joined or discussion boards, people you meet when playing games on Discord, etc. It always has amazed me where people come from that are committed to and step up to see me be successful. And I'm willing to bet that some of the same sources would be interested in you and your life and overcoming whatever obstacle has sort of hit you fast in the face that you've brought this video to watch. There is the issue of, does a friend of mine have a specific skill, talent, or ability to address a situation? So from the past few weeks, one of my friends is able to solder to do a plumbing repair. So a friend that has the ability to solder could then be useful in addressing a plumbing situation, or be useful in providing objective input over a situation that you found yourself in. And then there's the trades, a general contractor, a life coach. If you need a therapist, there's no shame in it. There are any number of groups that could also help you where you're facing a common ailment. Like, for example, with my physical disability, I joined a young adults group who are facing or have had hip replacement surgery sort of 30 years before the classic hope for need for an artificial hip comes into play. I think there's a merit in discussing resources as well. So when I think about resources, I do consider sleep and the physical stamina to chase down a problem or face a situation head on. And if you're not in the headspace for it, I do think that you need to get yourself to where you can be, or have talked to a friend and as a strategy start breaking down the problem into its component form, so that you're then, instead of being one problem, I mean, it might be 5 pieces that are this big that suddenly makes up the problem, but if you've got all 5 addressed, then you can come through this and tackle things as it's happening to you. There may be times when you need to acknowledge the need for others in your life. And I think there's merit in reminding you not to be an island all by yourself and you're going to take on the world. You do need to have the drive to win and to persevere, but to recognize the times in your life when having somebody alongside of you on your team, that value in it, and the value that will find you to be successful in your life. What I wanted to get you thinking about is a different way of approaching things that will help you in the long term, and that will help you find some type of sense of satisfaction. So if you're facing a really big problem, just for example, a teenage pregnancy where a child's going to be born and it's going to be a lifelong impact, you can start subdividing the problem into manageable segments. It's the same with healthcare treatment, or, and I hate to use that as an example, but for example, cancer treatment, where if the goal is to get through 6 chemotherapy treatments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've made it, and then having taken the time to acknowledge you got this far, and then you kind of need to be able to let that go and then start over again with whatever the next method of treatment is, or whatever the next segment is. It's a different way of thinking about things. If someone's going and doing a sport, whether it's skiing, baseball, soccer, and you accidentally break a bone, there's a fairly well-defined process from here to here that gets you back going again in life. The challenge is that not everything in life is, it's going to be resolved in 3 months. Some of these things require that sort of switch in mindset to be able to take on adversity and be able to overcome it. And while you're going through it, to still remember that you're a person and not to have forgot your needs, your basic health needs, and be able to take care of the whole you, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, whatever faith system that you believe in, to have maintained it while you're going about your life. this is what I had for you. This has sort of been percolating in my mind for the past few days and what I wanted to share today. Thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.